Business Computing Weekly, session number 413.
You are listening to the Business Computing Weekly podcast. It is time to incorporate technology into your business and take it to the next level. And here's your host, Bruce Naylor.
Hey, and welcome, my friends, to another session of Business Computing Weekly, the podcast that helps you utilize technology to grow with power, passion, and performance. And we're so glad you can join us this week. And I wish each and every one of you, my friends, to have a great and successful week ahead. Now it's time for my personal plug of the week. You know, I have to do this. It's how I pay my bills. But we're really proud of the fact that we have complete demos now, video on-demand demos of all the GFI software that we carry at frugalbrothers.com by going to Frugal Brothers, that's F-R-U-G-A-L brothers.com/demo. Right there you can check out demos of GFI LandGuard, Events Manager, GFI Mail Archiver, Fax Maker, GFI Cloud. All there is that you can watch these things at your leisure. Anytime you want to, just pull them up and watch these complete video tutorials and demos of these great GFI products. I'm in the network security business. It's what I do. It's how we pay our bills around here. And I appreciate that very much. You can find the complete show notes to today's episode at frugalbrothers.com, F-R-U-G-A-L brothers.com/413. And also, we really appreciate it when folks go to and rate our show and comment on it on iTunes. And I've made it simple to do by just going to frugalbrothers.com/review. And it'll take you right there into iTunes where you can rate our show, review it. We would appreciate it very, very, very much. Well, it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting here in my studio recording this episode, and I always love to be in front of the mic. I got to tell you, every day is great, and it's just getting better every day. And one of the things that I got to thinking about, you know, I sit down at the beginning of each week and think, what do I want to talk about on the next session of Business Computing Weekly? And this week, rip-offs. I hate getting ripped off. Doesn't everybody? We all pay the stupid tax in one way or another. But you know, sometimes the game is rigged against us. And it pays to be a smart consumer. Now, a lot of the listeners of my show are small businesses. They work out of home offices or they have a small office. They're trying to make every dime get a dollar's worth of work, and I don't blame you. I try to do the same thing. I squeeze that Lincoln so hard, that penny so hard, well, I can bleed. So when I lose money because I did something dumb, I paid the stupid tax, I try to learn from that, and I want to share some of these technology ripoffs with you. And so I decided I would make this list of 10 tech ripoffs that are very blatant ripoffs and share these with you today. So let's get started right at the top. Number one, and I do understand why people do this. They actually pay extra for laptops and tablets to get, you know, LTE capabilities, you know, from their cellular data provider. And let me give you an example here. If you go to the Apple Store and you look at the iPad, the $499 iPad is 16 gigs with Wi-Fi only. But you say, well, I want to get cellular data on it. That's $629. So it's an extra $130 to be able to get cellular data on your tablet. But then you need like the Share Everything plan. Now, Verizon, if you just have a smartphone, the plan I've got is about $100 a month. If I want to add this tablet, this device, which you need to do, that's an extra $20 a month. Think about this for a second. Why don't you just tether? That's what I'm doing. I just tether my phone to my tablet. I use Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Actually, the Wi-Fi tethering doesn't seem to work for me with my iPad 2 and my iPhone, but it works brilliantly if I use Bluetooth. And here's the thing. If I did it the way that Verizon and Apple would have me do it, I'd pay an extra $130 for the cellular data capable machine, and then an extra $240 a year for the Share Everything plan. So the bottom line is I would be spending grand total of $610 more over the course of a 2-year contract. Like I said, when I want to have internet access on my iPad and I'm not on my home network, all I got to do is just tether my phone and I am in business right there. And I just saved myself a whole lot of money. That is what you call paying the stupid tax. I'm not saying that there's not circumstances where maybe it's better to do it this way, but at least for me, and I know a lot of other people, just use your smartphone. You carry it with you wherever you go. Just use it, create a personal hotspot, whether Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and you're in business. And I don't have to pay an extra nickel now to tether with Verizon. That is, to me, a technology ripoff. This one's huge. And we all know this. Extended warranties, but yet companies like Best Buy, other manufacturers and retailers make a ton of money off of extended warranties. You know, those friendly blue shirts, when they suggest you get a warranty, it's almost all pure profit for these guys. They know that a electronic device is pretty much good for 3 years. Just about anything out there you buy with us, a television set, a laptop, a desktop machine, tablet, whatever, should last about 3 years. And the fact that the first year is generally covered by the manufacturer's warranty. So don't buy extended warranties. Now, let me give you another piece of advice, okay? That is, there's credit cards out there that will extend your warranty coverage at no additional charge as part of the service. American Express, for example, will extend the manufacturer's warranty, and it's really the best one to use because it will even extend it on refurbished items such as computers. Okay, so you could go to, say, the Apple store, get the one, which if you get a refurbished machine, comes with the 1-year warranty. You could double the warranty by paying for it at American Express, and we could save the money that Apple would charge on Apple Care, for example. So why not use your credit card to extend your warranty for free rather than buying an extended warranty? Makes no sense. It's pure profit. Don't do it. You're throwing good money after bad. This one is also, I think, very huge, and that is buying upgrades. When you buy a new laptop or a new desktop PC and you buy upgrades, you upgrade the memory, upgrade that hard drive, say, to an SSD. I did a little shopping. Went to Lenovo because in the Windows PC world on a laptop, first company I recommend without hesitation typically is Lenovo. Their ThinkPad series are just really, really awesome laptops that are built like little tanks. But I got to looking at the cost of upgrades. Personally, today, this day and age, do not buy a laptop without an SSD drive. Or the new desktop either. Try to avoid that. It's money well spent. So I did some shopping, and I looked at a Lenovo, the T430, and I did a couple upgrades. Lenovo wanted $450 for a 256 gig SSD upgrade. $450 to upgrade the memory from the stock 4 gigs that RAM it comes with to 16 gigs. $340, and we're talking DDR3 1600 megahertz memory. You can buy that memory for $127. Found it just right away on Amazon. You probably find it cheaper if you look around. DDR3 1600 megahertz memory for $127. $340 with Lenovo, $127 on Amazon. SSD $450 with Lenovo, $165 on Amazon. You just overpaid by $500. And let me tell you, folks, upgrading memory and replacing a hard drive in a laptop isn't really very, very difficult to do. In fact, even if you paid somebody else to do that, you're still ahead of the game. Number 4. Here's another one. I don't get this. I was talking to a friend one day, and anyhow, was complaining about his nav on his smartphone. I said, "What are you using? Are you, Google Maps? What are you using?" He goes, No, I'm using the one from Verizon. The one from Verizon? Yeah, I pay $5 a month for it, and blah, blah, does this, blah, 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 blah. Everything that his Android phone, it already had Google Maps. I said, do you understand you already have a free GPS app with your phone? Why would you be paying $60 a year for their nav service that you've already got for free, $120 over the course of a 2-year contract. He didn't really make that connection. It got put into his package when he bought his phone and didn't think about it. He promptly canceled once he realized, gee, I already got GPS. Why would that is it a ripoff? Well, let's put it this way. Verizon don't go out of their way to tell you, hey, you've got Android, you got Google Maps, or if you got an iPhone, you've got Apple Maps, and which, by the way, Apple Maps has worked brilliantly for me. I've never had a problem with it. But there's Waze, which is very, very good, and there's Google Maps for the iPhone as well. But one thing I would not do is pay that $5 a month. That's just really, really crazy thing to do. But people are doing it. Number 5, expensive cables. I went out to Walmart. I needed an HDMI cable one day at Walmart. $25 for an HDMI cable. And it wasn't even a monster cable. It was, I don't even remember the name brand of it, but I think it was around $25 for this 6-foot HDMI cable. Really, really expensive. Printer cables, dual-link DVI cables, all these things cost a lot of money when you go to a retail store like Best Buy or whatever. Go to Monoprice, MONOPRICE.com. HDMI cable, $4 for a 6-footer. And a 6-foot dual-link DVI cable, like $3 on Monoprice, and they work just as well as the $30 monster cables out there. I'm just telling you, folks, my friends, don't spend money unnecessarily. There's really no difference in the quality. Believe me, an HDMI cable is an HDMI cable. I don't care if it's diamond encrusted gold, 24 karat gold plated. You're not going to get any better picture off of that $40 HDMI cable than you are the $3, $4 HDMI cable. And the same thing goes for, DVI cables, printer cables, etc., USB extension cords, Firewire cables, any kind of cabling you need. Go to Monoprice first and order there. You'll be glad you did. I promise you that. Here's another tech ripoff. Number 6. Don't buy your phone necessarily from your carrier. Personally, I'm not a big fan of contract, subsidized phones. I just don't like being locked into a contract for 2 years. If you look at the month-to-month plan, if you go to buy a phone straight out from your good friends at Verizon, AT&T, etc., hey, they've already been overcharging you anyway for all this stuff. So we're kind of the rip-off artists that you know and love anyway. They overcharge on the phones. I'll give you an example. What was I looking at? I was looking at a Galaxy S3 on Amazon, and the same phone on Verizon. Verizon wanted $600 for the phone, Amazon $419, almost $180 difference. Same phone, work with the same carrier, everything, almost $200 more to buy it from Verizon. Isn't that nuts? Don't buy your phone through the phone carriers if at all possible. Take a look at Amazon, eBay, and other sources for these phones. So that's my tip number 6, or I should say that's, to me, a ripoff number 6. Number 7, now this is a personal one, and okay, it's not really business related, but I got to bring it up. And that's the Xbox Gold membership. Don't you think that's ridiculous that you're paying $60 a year to basically access the services you're paying for? In other words, if you can't watch Netflix or Hulu Plus on your Xbox that you're already paying a subscription fee for, unless you turn around and pay Microsoft $60 a year. This is just a flat shakedown. It is a flat shakedown, in my opinion, of people of Xbox 360 owners. I'm a cord cutter. I disconnected my satellite TV. I use a antenna, and I use Hulu Plus and Netflix for to replace cable, more or less, and it works brilliantly. But to pay Xbox or Microsoft $60 a year is just a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate it. It's a ripoff. I feel like I'm being ripped off. So I just had to bring that into it. Number 8, and this will go for a number of peripheral, just not these. Wireless mice. For some reason, my experience with wireless mice just isn't that good. I I might get 6 months to a year out of one before they just quit working, just die. I just had real problems with wireless mice over the years. They just don't seem to hold up under a lot of heavy-duty use. And believe me, they get a lot of use around here. And this could be for other peripherals too, okay? A basic Logitech wireless mouse, retail, is going to set you back around $30. And if you go through a number of these things every year, it starts to add up. I know. Maybe it seems petty. That's all right. But you know what? I can get basically the same wireless mouse for $10. Again, through my friends at Monoprice. Is Monoprice a sponsor of my show? No, they are not. But it's basically the same doggone mouse. Now, let me tell you another story. On my Windows PC, I've been using two 24-inch Dell ultra-sharp displays. I was running low on desk space because they're pretty doggone big monitors. And I got this harebrained idea. Maybe it would work better if I had one large display rather than the two. And so I started looking at 27-inch displays, and I wanted the 2560 by 1440, and I prefer glossy due to color. I'm very picky about color, especially if I'm working with doing stuff with like Photoshop or I use Premiere. Yeah, Adobe Premiere to edit video, that kind of thing. So I'm very conscientious of color. And glossy displays, to me, the colors look deeper, truer, richer on gloss. I will say it's a pain, especially with reflectivity. Sometimes it looks like I'm looking at a mirror, but it depends on how you position the display. That's irrelevant. What is relevant, I went to the usual suspects. The first place when I look for a quality display is Dell. I look at Dell. And I was looking at their 27-inch display, and I know they build a quality item, $800. But ultimately, I ended up learning about these South Korean companies that are buying the panels that Dell and Apple reject for just the most minute reason. I mean, we're really talking pretty much perfect panels here. And they're rejecting them, and these South Korean companies are building monitors around them and selling them for a fraction of the price. I was able to find a display called an X-Star, which is a Samsung panel. Over in Korea, two major panel makers, Samsung and LG. LG goes to Apple, and maybe Dell uses Samsung. But these are very high-quality panels, and the ones that don't get bought, they sell to these South Korean companies like X-Star and others. They go by Cat Leap, Shimmy, and other names. And I got this thing delivered price for $308.90. 27-inch Samsung PLS panel, 2560 by 1440, beautiful, pixel perfect. It took 6 days to get to my office from South Korea, and it is stunning. Now, does it have all the ports? No. The only ports it has is a power. It has a audio input because it does have built-in speakers, terrible built-in speakers that no one's going to use, and dual-link DVI, so it doesn't have DisplayPort, like DisplayPort 1.2, anything like that. It does not have HDMI. It doesn't have VGA. It's just got dual-link DVI. That's it. It does not offer scaling, so the resolution is 2560 by 1440, and that's it. They don't supply the additional electronics to take care of scaling. It doesn't have all the onboard on-screen display of all your various controls. You have to adjust color and all that kind of thing through your software driver. In my case, it's the Catalyst driver. But no, and I will also say that the base, the stand, is not the best in the world. It gets kind of wobbly. All right, but the main reason I bought it is because I got this beautiful display, got it for $300, which the same quality in a Dell or Apple charges $1,000 for them. You see what I'm getting at? I saved a lot of money. The end result is I'm just fine with what I got. It works for me. But I did some shopping, and I didn't pay a lot of money. Now, is Dell a ripoff? No, it's not a ripoff, but it's being a smart consumer. It's being a smart business owner to know that there are equivalents out there for a whole lot less money. This is also, I think, very, very important out there. A lot of small business out there do not have their own IT department. do not have their own IT department. So number 9 is managed service providers who are ripoff artists. Now, if you are an MSP and you are listening to this podcast, God bless you. I think you do great. You've got a great thing going. And I respect what you do. But there are people that are unscrupulous that when they provide services to a business for a monthly fee each month, may be overcharging the small business owners, may be providing poor service, may be offering unnecessary services, and the ones who lease equipment as part of the deal might be leasing old and outdated equipment. There's a lot of room for big-time ripoffs with managed service providers, especially the unscrupulous ones. The good ones, they're keepers, they're gold. You know, it's just like any other profession. You got a good mechanic, you want to keep that mechanic. But there's also mechanics out there that will rip you off. Get references. Get as many references as you can on managed service providers. But just bear in mind, there's some people out there trying to cash in by under-delivering and overcharging. There are a lot of ripoff artists that have gotten into this business, and you got to be careful. That's all I'm going to say. The last one I want to cover are what I call gray market ripoffs. What is a gray market ripoff? Okay, so I noticed this trend kind of started happening with computer components and then moved into cameras, video cameras, SLR, all kind of point-and-shoot cameras, etc. And there would be, like Canon, Panasonic, other companies out there that make cameras would, have a, say, normal price you'd see kind of $500. And, you see like 10 companies selling for the same camera right around that price range, and you see the one that had it for $300. You go, wow, I think I'll order from there. Well, what they were doing was they were dealing with gray market cameras. And this has expanded into laptops, tablets, and other devices out there, these gray market devices. And what that really means is these manufacturers will have different versions of the same product, one for sale, say, in Asian markets and one for sale in the North Americas. And there can be big differences there. Gray market, and now this is mentioning about the cameras, but it can apply to laptops, tablets, what have you. Manufacturers typically, this is the big one, will typically not honor warranties on gray market equipment. And that equipment may come with manuals written in foreign languages, power adapters that are not compatible with your country, the power source, etc. Specs and components such as video output, electrical adapters, drivers might not be compatible in your country where it is purchased. But the biggest problem of all is that most manufacturers will not or will refuse to honor the warranty of an item purchased from gray market sources. Gray market ripoffs are massive out there. So if a deal, that's the thing. When being a smart shopper, if a deal looks too good to be true, it generally speaking is. When I bought this display, I was very, very cautious until a source that I respect very much bought 2 of these, reviewed them, and gave them a thumbs up. That was the signal for me to buy it. Normally, I'd say, a 27-inch 2560 by 1440 display for $300 delivered. There's got to be something wrong. There's got to be, no, I don't trust it. It's from South Korea. Are you kidding me? Might as well kiss my money goodbye. But after looking at the forums and doing my research and my homework, I found out, nope, these guys are legit. This is how they make their money. They're making a nice little shot of money on this, too. They're getting these panels real cheap. Really, really inexpensively. So these are an example of 10 different high-tech ripoffs. Well, not necessarily high-tech, but tech ripoffs that are out there. And as a small business owner, myself, I try to save money. I try to be frugal, thus frugal brothers. Frugal doesn't always mean the cheapest. It means getting the most value for your money. Just paying the stupid tax does not get me the most value out of my money. And it's not up to these guys, the Verizons, the AT&Ts, the Best Buys, the eBays of the world to explain all your various options to you. It is up to you to learn and become an educated consumer. I hope that maybe there was something in today's episode that'll help you save some money and maybe not make a mistake down the road. I think on that note, we're going to wrap up this week's installment of Business Computing Weekly. Have a great week. Be productive out there. If it's in your shop not making you money or saving you money, get it out of there. I'll talk to you later.